Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here, and it is July. What am I hearing? Oh, you got to mute that. Hey, it's July 2nd, and we are back on another Friday. We had to skip last Friday. We were filming a new course with our good friend Ken Sperduso, who's doing a course on portrait drawing and painting. So we're really excited to get that out to you the next few weeks or so. Yes. Yes. So, but today, we got a few things going on today that I'm pretty excited about. First of all, for those of you here in the United States, happy 4th of July weekend.
Happy 4th of July.
Yep, that's always our big summertime, big party blowout weekend for us. For years, I had a big 4th of July party at my house that became legendary. We ended up stopping the parties after about 8 years, but they got huge. We had giant slip and slides going downhill and all kinds of stuff.
300-foot downhill.
Yeah, 300-foot slip and slides. They were a blast. But instead of that, we're going to do a big sale over at creatureartteacher.com for the entire weekend. So if you've gone over to creatureartteacher.com this all weekend long, 4th of July weekend, everything is 25% off. It's all lessons, all brushes, everything. So go on over there and check that out. It's a big sale. Everything's 25% off. That's a pretty good chunk. And the more you buy, the more you save. So it's going to be good.
Don't forget to use the promo code to get that discount.
That's right. So the promo code is July 4. July 4. July 4 for the 25% off. Use that promo code. And then also, what do we got going on? We have got...
The auctions.
I want to announce, this is something Nick and I have been talking about. You know, every few months or so, I like to do a live web event. And it's something we started doing it before COVID, but since COVID started, it became really imperative that we do it. And so we were talking about what to do on our next live event, and I started thinking about my old friend Chuck Williams. Chuck and I have known each other for 30 plus years. He's been a producer, director, editor. He was an editor when we met. We were both young pups, just starting out at Disney. Matter of fact, he just got done producing Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yep. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he just got done producing that. That was his project he got off the ground. Very proud of him for that. And but he was also a producer on Brother Bear when I was directing, and he and I have also directed several projects together. And so we thought, I approached Chuck with this idea that, he and I have we have our own way of kind of getting ideas off the ground for movies. It was the idea for Brother Bear came about with he and I just throwing around different notions for movie ideas. And that's how we got it off the ground. And we have this way of doing it that from the spark of an idea through the early development that I think is somewhat unique to us. Maybe not to everybody, but every directing team or creative team has their own way of doing these things. And I think Chuck and I have our own way of doing it. And we thought it'd be fun to do a course, a live course, 6-hour course, on our approach to getting animated movies off the ground. And so it's something that we love to do. I love talking about it. And it's we're going to talk about everything from just propagating that seed of an idea. How do you get it moving beyond that? How do we develop characters? How do you develop character interaction? How do you develop what your film is about? Setting that tent pole of what that thematic notion of what drives that story. How do you get it in front of executives? How do you get it to the next level into production? We're going to talk about all these things. We've actually got experience doing it at Disney and Chuck elsewhere with the companies he was working with, and so and I think it's something that they don't teach in college. Because it's something a lot of times you just got to have that hands-on knowledge, and it's something we've done several times. And so August 14th, I'm getting long-winded here, but August 14th is when we're going to be doing that from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so put that on your calendar. We'd really love to have you. Go over to creatureartteacher.com/live and you'll get more information over there. once again, I'm really excited about it, and it's the first time I've done a workshop with someone else, and I'm really excited to do it with Chuck. Like I said, we've been friends, almost like brothers. Well, actually, definitely like brothers for 30 some odd years. So there you go. And so finally, the whole reason I'm sitting at my desk today, the animation desk, it's very hot in here, so I got to stay hydrated. We have got our first ever art auction going on over at creatureartteacher.com/originals. So if you want to go check it out. Over the last several weeks, I've been pulling together a bunch of drawings, some old paintings from demonstrations, and kind of my artwork has just been kind of piling up. And so we thought we would do a little art auction and just see how it went. We've never done one before. And so it's a series of a whole bunch of drawings that I did on animation paper, and then some watercolor demonstrations, animal portraits. And they're varying sizes, prices, that sort of thing. But if you want to bid on something, if you want an original piece of art from me, then go on over to creatureartteacher.com/originals.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's originals plural, right?
Yes, originals plural.
Yeah, so going over to Creature Art Teacher, lost my train of thought.
Okay
Creature
there?
Art Teacher, I think I smelled burnt toast. creatureartteacher.com/originals, and you can go through the whole list. We got 29 in there, 29 images that you can bid on, and hopefully it ends tonight at midnight. So make sure you get there. Well, at midnight for us, it'll be whatever our midnight translates for you. So if you're in the Philippines, then that's going to be noon for you. What's that?
Our midnight is in Eastern Standard Time.
Correct.
U.S. Eastern Standard Time.
So I thought, you know what? All the drawings that I've been doing, they've all been animals, cats, coyotes, wolves, and I don't know why I just started drawing a circle. And so I thought today, why don't I just continue doing the same thing? I love drawing. Actually, I'm not going to waste that paper. This paper is my animation paper is precious, so I don't want to waste that. Just because I drew a circle, I can erase that circle.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And a lot of times, whatever subject I'm drawing, a lot of times I'll do a little printout. You can see my printout right here of just little poses, and these are they're not necessarily what I'm going to draw. They're prompts. They're little in case I get for me, even though I've been drawing animals for 40 plus years, I still will get stuck on different angles, and so I like to print out different poses just to help me get through what might be a sticky situation. But I like to push my poses.
You like to push it, do your legs.
I like to push it.
I like to move it.
Yes. And so I just sit here, and what I've been doing is just sitting and drawing. And this one, I have a very specific thing I want to do. So I'm going to pull back on this.
Very specific?
Yes, I have a very specific pose I want to hit. So I want to make sure that I'm giving myself enough room. I love the fluidity of tigers.
Looks like Erica Bay just hopped on.
Hey, Erica Bay.
And so has Kirk Michael, Cora Dawson, Venkat, a whole bunch of people. They're all saying hi.
Hello. So this is how I did all the drawings that you're going to see in that auction. I just sat here and just kind of goofed around.
And Venkat's asking, how are you? Hope all's well with you and the family.
Everything is wonderful. It's the old man's birthday this weekend, my father. For those of you that know Marshall, he's turning 82.
You'll only be 82.
The old man is 82.
It looks like got a question from Nick from Deep Thoughts.
Oh, right on. Oh, I do. How many years of drawing from life at the zoo did it take you to draw accurate animal drawings from imagination like some of the ones in the auction? I'm still learning. So, and it's not just the zoo. I try to draw from, wild, out in the wild as much as I can, wherever. But it's taken years. I'm 53, and I'm still learning.
Erica says, "Tell Marshall happy birthday from the Blaise."
Oh, we will. Absolutely.
And somebody chirping saying hi from Bulgaria.
Right
and,
on.
Someone else saying good evening from Berlin.
Good evening.
From Bulgaria, that is Gloria Barasova. And from Berlin is Isabella Butchman? Butchman? I think it's, or is it Buckman? Sorry, I'm butchering the last name. I think it's Butchman.
I'm just not liking this one. See, that's the other thing too. When I'm drawing live like this, I can go, nope. And then I like drawing analog on paper. I love going back to the old ways. Actually, I want to do a different.
Good old fashioned way.
Yeah, I want to get something that's a little more, I can draw a little bigger inside the restrictions that I have. There we go. Oh, new movie with Chris Pratt at tomorrow, whatever.
Not tomorrow.
Where he's
Tomorrow War?
The Tomorrow War, is it? Yeah, that's out today.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
So check out creatureartteacher.com/originals if you want to get some art. We'll probably end up selling this art at some point too. The ones I do today here.
And don't be afraid to ask any questions, anybody. Because I'm all out of questions.
I'm all out of questions.
So lost without y'all. Waiting for so long for questions.
There.
Yeah, Nick is saying, watch leaning over the drawing.
You mean like this?
Yeah, exactly like that. Perfect. Actually, you want me to try shifting the camera ever so slightly to the right?
If you think it'll help.
Yeah.
I don't move it too much. How does your animation paper compare to computer paper? I don't know what computer paper is, unless you're talking about printer paper. This, the animation paper is amazing. It's got a nice weight to it. It's got just enough tooth for the pencil, meaning it's got enough roughness to take the pencil really well. My biggest thing is the weight. I don't like really flimsy paper, and the animation paper is anything but flimsy. It's really nice.
And what brand of pencils do you use?
This is what I'm using here is a Cretacolor. It's called a Monolith. It's a 4B, so it's relatively soft, but it's all graphite. The whole thing. There's no wood. It's a woodless pencil.
And that was asked by Mike MCD. And next question is from Eric Nieto. A random question. Have you guys seen Primal by Gendy Tartakovsky?
Yes.
Finally got around to watching it, and it's awesome. I love Samurai Jack from back in the day.
Yes, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Primal, but I've seen the trailers, and it definitely does have that. It's made by the same creators as Samurai Jack, right?
I don't know. I'm assuming. See, I like going a little bigger on the pause too, like I'm forcing the perspective a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of drawing through.
From Caballero, a quick question. What
Sure.
kind of animal do you like to draw, sir?
Oh, I like drawing everything. Obviously, I love big cats. Here, I'm really pushing that paw forward. Bears, big cats, birds. I love drawing and painting birds. That was actually birds were the first kind of wildlife that I drew as a kid.
From Raheem Powell, where can I get an animation table from?
There's a lot of animation supply stores. You just got to search the internet. I get mine from, I think it's Animation Supplies. I think is what it's called. Out of Burbank, California.
Do they sell tables?
Yes.
Nice.
Not like what I'm using.
Yours is straight out of Disney.
Yeah, mine's pretty right out of Disney. This is the same desk, by the way, that I animated Beauty and the Beast on, and Rajah from Aladdin, and the Lion King. Matter of fact, right here on the corner of my desk, I've got this lion that I scratched into the corner of my desk the day that I started on the Lion King.
And from Gloria, what is the difference between a wood pencil and a woodless pencil?
A wood pencil has wood. A woodless pencil is woodless. It is the woodless pencil is completely all graphite. Can I hold this up to the camera, Dustin? Can you see it?
It's
all blurry.
It's not an autofocus. It's a single.
Oh, gotcha. So it's literally all graphite. It's wrapped in plastic so that my hand doesn't get all graphite covered. But underneath the plastic, it's literally just a rod of graphite to draw with.
And it looks like I got a new question and comment from Nick.
I do. Thank you. Oh, cartoonsupplies.com is the site. Yep. What size paper are you drawing on, and do you find it more fun drawing bigger, or is it just easier for you? Well, first of all, this isn't big for me. I love drawing big, really big. 30 inches or more. This paper is 13 and a half inches high by 17 inches wide. And yes, I do enjoy drawing big. The cool thing about this graphite, like so, actually, can you see it very well? Does it? Because I'm drawing fairly light.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
Okay, good.
See the details.
Good. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I made sure there was not too much glare or hot spots or anything. And is that a new question from Nick?
Hold on one second.
Or is that one that's
What's with that paper? Can you see your underdrawings pretty well without the use of a light box? Yes, I can see. Like if I put you can see this drawing. If I put another piece of paper over the top, I don't know if you can. Can you see through it, Dustin, on the camera?
A little, barely.
Yeah, I can see through it, but I don't use that though. First of all, I don't use my light box. And I don't use the see-through qualities of the paper when I'm animating. I flip and I look for the movement. That's what's important for me, is that movement.
From Manuel Ramirez, do you like how Pixar has been doing since John Lasseter left?
I like how Pixar's been doing. I don't know. I mean, I think Pete Docter, who's heading up Pixar now, I think Pete Docter is brilliant, and I think he's running the company extremely well. And I think they've got a huge, huge future ahead of them. You know, and I don't think any one company is the sum of one person either. You know, Walt Disney even was not, you know, sure, Walt had vision but that the company Walt Disney, you know, when he was alive, was much more than Walt, you know, once they got down the road. And so, and it's the same with Pixar. You know, John is a creative genius. He really is. But there's a lot of really amazingly talented people within that company that were able and very capable of taking over, and within Disney as well when he left Disney.
From Witold Freudke, do you have an Android app for your courses?
No, we don't.
That one is still in the works, isn't it?
Still in the works. I don't know that we've been working on it very much. Nick can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's been kind of, we've had other things that we've been working on. But we definitely want to get an Android app out there.
Yeah, it's big. You do have one for the iOS for Apple, right?
Yes. Did you see the Luca movie, and did you like it? I did see it, and I saw most of it. I saw it when it was late at night when I was watching it, so I fell asleep. I got to go back and watch it through again. But the parts that I saw before I fell asleep, I loved. I fell asleep like an old man now.
That's one of the two boys going in the two mermaid boys going into town, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one you don't need don't need to buy like an extra special access or anything, right? On Disney Plus.
You get when you order. Disney has a super annoying thing when you get their first run movies.
Yeah.
You order it and then you have to go on your phone and confirm it, and it's, oh my gosh, I want to throw it through the window. It's really annoying the way they do it.
I know they did that with Cruella, but did they do that with Luca as well?
Yes, they did.
From Venkat, how many big cats have you drawn, including pencil sketches, Inktober pen sketches, all that? Like, how many big cats have you drawn?
How many? That's like, how many breaths have you taken in your life? I have no idea. Thousands.
And for the latecomers, what kind of paper, sheet of paper is that again?
This paper? This is animation paper. The straight up animation paper I get from Animation Supplies. Steve Coleman says, "Hola from Pueblo, Mexico." I thought Steve came back. Oh, maybe, we were off. We were off a day or a week or two. That's right.
Just a little off.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hope you're having a good time down there.
The Android app is coming. We're in the process of a major revision to the app. Once that version is done, we're porting it over. Transporting it over.
Sweet.
So you can see these drawings sometimes get a little bit labored. As I talk, I tend to work a little more on them than they're not quite as spontaneous. So what I like to do is get it all kind of laid in the way I'm doing, and then oh, I like this one. He's gonna have some power. And then I like to soften everything. You know, I love, one of the things I love about working in graphite is the malleability, the amount you can work your graphite. You can really do a lot with graphite. It's really forgiving. If you're not heavy-handed, you can do a lot with it. So like in this case, I want to soften everything. I've got everything kind of laid in. So I just grab a paper towel and I just with my finger in the paper towel, just come through and I create these little tones, and it softens all the light lines, keeps the heavier lines in there, and then I can go in and restate everything. And the other thing too is I can sharpen things up with an eraser. That's my technique. My technique. The technique.
Have you seen the Invincible series? That's on Amazon Prime.
Which one is that?
That is the superhero animated series.
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's a really good show. Brutal, but good.
Brutal?
Oh yeah, it's drawn like any other superhero series like Justice League or Superman, but it's just as brutal.
Like the boys?
As the boys, yeah.
Wow. See, I'm not into that kind of stuff. I think I just don't understand the need for it. Now the boys, I understand they're, but I don't know, not my choice. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of pulling out little highlights with the eraser, with the graphite. Then it's gonna get loud. So loud! Now I can come in and just start restating everything.
Hey Aaron, Beth Herrick here. Can you speak to us about how you begin the outlining of your drawings? Our son Billy has a rough time with that first stroke.
Well, for me, it's not the outlining. I'm not finding the outline of the drawing. I'm trying to find the form itself. And so I think I try to find that gesture first. So in here, I was trying to find that sweeping form. A lot of times I'll start with the head, because that's where I'm going to start my attention, right? So I start with the head in there, and then I try to think about the flow coming off of the head through the body, and then I attach the body to that.
Hey Zoji.
Hey man.
Says, hi Aaron.
Hey.
Recently, Tim Hodge posted a correspondence he had with Ollie Johnston. Did you ever communicate with any of the Golden Age animators or the Nine Old Men?
Oh yeah, I had lunch with Ollie fairly soon before he died. He wasn't doing too well, and we were able to communicate a little bit, but he was definitely he was on his way out, for lack of a better way of saying it. But when we first started at the studio, when Frank was still alive, and Ollie, they used to come into the studio I wouldn't say a lot, but they came in several times, and so I was able to meet Frank and Ollie and Ward and Mark Davis and a lot of guys before they passed. Very lucky. And they were great. Ward didn't like anything we did, though. Ward was funny. He was a cool dude, though. I liked him.
If we were to purchase all video content from you guys and download it, do we know approximately how many terabytes it would take to store it at 1080? I'm looking at buying a hard drive dedicated to Creature Art Teacher videos.
Well, I know it's over 400 hours, 450 hours.
Yeah, it's a pretty good couple of terabytes.
How do you deal with anatomy when you paint different postures of the same animal? And there are no precise posture references. Do you use anatomy references for that, or does it just come naturally? I'll do both. I'll just imagine it in my head, but also I'll look at whatever reference I can find. And so, after a while, you start to realize that certain animals are really similar to other animals, and there's not a big difference. Well, obviously, there's not really any difference in the body between, say, a tiger and a lion. Now, obviously, there's a lot of surfacey differences, and those are the things that you got to figure out. But that's a lot easier to remember than musculature and things like that. The musculature on a tiger and a lion are pretty much identical. If you skinned each animal and compare it and put them next to each other, they're pretty much you can't tell the difference. And so it's things like that. You just got to remember differences in proportion and whatnot. Like pretty much all cats have all the same parts. I wouldn't say they're all built the same, but they have all the same parts.
It's funny. I just realized on what you're using for reference.
Mm-hmm. Your cats.
Yes. I love those shots.
Yeah, these are the references that I'm looking at are photos that Dustin took at Big Cat Habitat in Sarasota, Florida.
Yep, when we were doing our Sarasota workshop.
Yep. All right.
When will the photography course come out? Still in the works, and we're still getting some other stuff out of the way first. But soon,
Never.
hopefully, at least in the next few months. Had to push it back a little bit. Just a little bit. Does your animation table still light up?
Oh, I don't have it plugged in. Here we go. Hold on. Is that a 3-prong?
Need a hand?
Yes, it lights up. I don't have it plugged in. I'm not going to go through. I got the plug on the floor. I don't use it. I don't use the backlight. I never did in the 35 years that I've had this desk. I'll occasionally have it on, but I never use it for drawing.
I'm looking forward to the course by Manny. Any idea when that will come out?
Well, that's another one that we're hoping in the next few months. I'd love to have it by November. So we're going to get on him I haven't talked to Manny in a while. Usually we stay in pretty good contact, so I gotta talk to that guy, see what's going on.
Yeah, talk to that son of a gun. How do you deal with anatomy when you paint different postures of the same animal?
That's the one I just read. It's all right.
Nick, why'd you confuse me by keeping that up?
So I want to remind you guys that if you're interested in buying some original art, I've got an art auction going on right now at creatureartteacher.com/originals. Sorry.
Originals, yep.
Originals.
Sure.
And there's only 10 hours left in the auction. It goes until midnight tonight. So get on over there. Support us. Support us artists.
And Martin Berger's asking, will you do the September thing?
November.
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 November. November.
You know what I like to do? I like to get some shadow around the eyes. Maybe just give them an ominous, see what this looks like. Just take out the graphite in the eyes. Get those eyes to glow.
Arturo Garcia writes, I visited this cave in France that had cave paintings by ancient humans. We saw mammoth and bison paintings as well as humans. But then I saw this little message written by cavemen, this inscription nobody else had noticed before. I dusted it off and I was amazed at what it read. How's Snow Bear coming? That was pretty good.
It's actually, I was just looking at it, some of the stuff today. I'm getting ready to transfer onto it, which reminds me, in pre-order is our course on costumed figure drawing. We just finished shooting the last video for that yesterday. And that is my time to transition over to Snow Bear.
Well, we still need to film the outro, but that's only like a quick little like.
Yeah, that's
5 minute
nothing.
thing.
It's nothing.
But
Don't steal my thunder,
And-
man.
I'll steal all the thunder I want. And then I should have all this stuff edited by the end. Actually, I was gonna say by the end of next week, but I'm gonna be having the first couple of days of the week on vacation. So next week, I'll say next week.
July 17th, it's out. That's when it's got to be out. July 17. So you can pre-order it right up to that date and get 50% off. After that, you're paying 50% more. So I would recommend ordering it beforehand. And it's going to be really a good course. It's got tons of, not just the instruction that I'll be doing, but we've shot thousands. I'm going to sneeze. Wow, that was a good one. Excuse me. Boy, you probably got all wet on the other side of that.
It's raining snot.
We've got hundreds of reference photos as well that I'm really happy to share with you guys.
I know you use a lot of your own photography for reference. Aside from that, what other reference materials do you use?
That's it. Real life. It's just real life. Bones.
Documentaries?
Yeah, sometimes. But you know, when it comes to my art and you know that sort of thing. Well, I guess yeah. Sometimes I will look at documentaries, and
I've seen you sometimes like watch a documentary and then pause and then do a quick like thumbnail sketch and
yeah.
then use that as a base reference.
When you do that, you get a good sense of form on the characters. I do not recommend Googling and using Google Images as your source or as your main source. I think it's okay as a secondary source, but as a main source, it's either your own photography or because that you've been able to stand there and observe the animals, or get out there and get some video, documentaries, that sort of thing. Because as long as they're moving, even though it's a two-dimensional image, if they're moving, you can still get a good sense of how the form works. Because photographs tend to lie if you don't understand the whole form of what's going on. They can definitely lie.
From Kirk Michael, Aaron, what's the best brushes to use for starting oil painting?
Don't use real soft brushes. You want to get a stiffer bristle brush. And so that's my recommendation. I don't get really expensive oil painting brushes because I'm really hard on them. And I tend to paint thick, alla prima. And so a lot of wet into wet. So I just get really, somewhat in the middle kind of stiffness hog's hair brushes. Do you know where they sell animation desks these days? I would love to get one. If you're talking about these animation desks, they're few and far between. And usually these desks on their own, I think, are running. I've seen them as cheap as $3,000, and I've seen them as expensive as $10,000 or $15,000. This one, I'll own this forever. But as far as other desks, there's animation supply companies. The desk isn't the big thing. It's really the disc, right? Having where the disc goes and how it fits into the desk. And for this desk, this just happens to be a very well-designed desk. But I've seen a lot of other desks, animation desks, that are very different than this, but just as well designed. My good friend Ronnie Williford built a really cool one. Ronnie builds everything. The guy's a genius.
Looks like I got one more from Nick.
Yeah, I'll get to it in just a second. I'm just drawing in these stripes.
Do it now!
How many of these drawings will you do on this live stream? Well, probably, it's like this one the first drawing always takes a little bit longer. But I'll do 2 or 3.
Sounds like a good number. 10 drawings later. Jay Price says, hi Aaron.
Hi.
What type of soft pencils do you use to draw those amazing animal pencil drawings?
Well, that's what I'm using right now. I'm using a Cretacolor Monolith woodless pencil. It's all graphite.
And Marcella says, I'll be doing a live public painting tomorrow. Do you have any tips?
Don't mess up. No, don't get nervous. I mean, just have fun. Have fun with it.
Zonji's asking, were these desks designed and built in the 1940s along with the studio?
No, so not this desk. These desks that I'm at, right, like the desk I'm sitting at now, were specially made for the animation studio that opened at MGM Studios in 1989. Now these desks are modeled after the 1940s desks that the guys had at the studio at Disney back in the day. But then I think they were improved upon a little bit. And so these were made to look the same, have the same feel, but there's some extra little design features to them, drawers and shelves and things like that I think make them a little better. So this desk was built in 1989 or 1988, somewhere in there. So it's 33 years old.
And is the disc they're using, is that considered a 16 frame disc?
16 field.
Field.
Yes, this is a 16 field disc. This is 16 field paper that I'm working on.
In celebration of the release of Luca, can you talk to us a little about the friends of your childhood?
The friends of my childhood?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I was a pretty typical kid. I was a pretty typical 70s and 80s kid. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And I was always outdoors. We were always outdoors. We were always causing trouble. And, it was a different time. We were joking about this the other day. I remember when I was 9 years old, when I was 9, my friends and I would get our sleeping bags and our tents and load them up on our bicycles, and we'd ride out to these old canals, in the backwoods here in Florida where we used to go, and we would go camping all weekend. And we were like 9 years old and 10 years old, and our parents used to just, all right, make sure you're back on Sunday, and we would be back. And I remember, sitting there with it was a lot like, if you've ever watched Stand By Me, the movie Stand By Me with River Phoenix, it was very much like that. I look back on it and I can't believe my parents used to let me just go at that age. We do that now, you get arrested. But we had a wonderful time. And, we'd bring hot dogs and whatever. And I remember we'd sit and chop wood and fish. Pretty much like you would see in the movies. We had this kind of childhood. I remember one thing we used to do that was a lot of fun is we'd bring our snorkeling gear, our masks and fins, and we'd go out to this lake. It was crystal clear. We'd bring our fishing lines, and we'd swim out to the middle of the lake and just float on the surface and lay our fishing lines out with little pieces. We'd make up little bread dough balls. We'd keep them in little baggies, and we'd put them on the line out in the lake. They were compressed enough that they wouldn't dissolve and fall off, and we would just sit there and fish right from the lake. I mean, laying in the water. It was really neat. We'd catch little panfish, little brim and sunfish and whatnot, and we'd go back and we'd clean them and we'd eat. Actually, I like thinking back about that. I haven't thought about it in years. I miss those days. It was a completely different time.
from Jane, did you know that Andreas Dejas
Deja.
owns a Milt call desk?
Yes. He was trained by Mill.
And from Marion Hobbins, what is a field? When you're talking about
The fields are how it's the frame. So 16 field is a certain size frame. As you go lower, 12 field is a smaller frame, but it's all within a certain aspect ratio. But the field is basically, it's the field of view. You know, the field of view. So in this case, 16 field is it's 16. I don't want to say it's 16 inches because it's not. I'm not sure what the number corresponds to. I've never learned that actually. I'm sure Bob, my directing partner Bob, used to be head of layout, and he could have told us. So things like this, I'll just leave them just sitting in the background. So now I'll come in and just clean up areas like that bit of fur along here, which is really white. I want that to stand out against his fur back here. That orange, in this case, gray color. I want that to get pushed back. I want it to recede. There we go. So I want to remind you too that this is July 4th weekend for us here in the States, and so we are doing a big July 4th sale at creatureartteacher.com. All weekend long, if you go to the site, everything, all the lessons and brushes are 25% off. Just put in the promo code July 4 and you'll get 25% off. Here's where I like to put in all the little details. This point in the drawing when I'm cleaning it up. And then when you clean up around it, that's when you realize how much it's really smudged. Oh yes. Now it gets nice and clean. Hey Dustin.
Yes?
Can you grab me one of my kneaded erasers over by the other drawing there that we were doing yesterday? Because this one's all full of goop. Right there you go. Thank you.
Welcome.
See, it's this one you can tell I've used it a lot compared to this one, which is brand new.
Gee, I wonder what the difference is.
They look the same to me.
Zunji says, I was looking at these rendered graphite drawings on animation paper in the auction, and it made me wonder, do you think it would be viable to animate in this style? Maybe you could get away with shading every second frame?
I don't think shading every second frame, it would flicker a lot. You would see all the flickering. If I were to do it, I would just commit to it and do it. Richard Williams did animation and rendered styles like this a fair amount in his career and created some really beautiful stuff. I think it would be really cool.
Is it possible to clean kneaded erasers?
No. Not that I know of. Never heard of that.
And these erasers can last you for a good while, though, right?
Depends on how much you draw and use them. But yeah. See, the other cool thing I can do with my eraser is get his whiskers in there.
Hmm. It's like a new question from Nick.
A nude question. So I draw digitally on a 10.5-inch iPad and it's small. Is it worth spending the money to get a bigger screen tablet over 20 inches? If you ask me, yes. Which you just did. I'm a big advocate of working big.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, I love working big. And so my opinion is the bigger the better. I don't like working small. If Wacom came out with a 50-inch Cintiq, I'd find a way to buy it.
What do you think about The Thief and the Cobbler and how it's still an unfinished masterpiece? And could it still be finished if animations came together?
Well, I don't know that it should ever be finished. I would hate to assume to know what Richard Williams would have wanted for that. The fact that he lost it and Warner Brothers finished it without him for release was heartbreaking. And the version that was released, I thought was horrible. And there was so much beautiful animation that Richard Williams had done, mixed with subpar animation that other animators had done. It was really heartbreaking to see that. There we go. I think we'll call this one done. Nice warm up. There. There we go. There we go. There we go. There. Can you see it? How's that look? Can you see it on there?
Yeah.
So there's our...
I mean, it's focused onto the desk, so the closer you bring
right,
the
it's
camera,
not
the more I'll focus on it.
That's right. The tigre.
Tigre.
Here's another... Bites dust. Do another one. See, these have got graphite in them as well. These are just sticks that don't have any plastic covering on them.
They're what?
So I like to put them in my little holder here. And the graphite's a little harder, so it draws a little lighter. So I'm going to try drawing with that, and then I'll finish with this one. Try a new one. YouTube question: do you draw every day for yourself, that you don't post, or is it mostly for courses and live streams? I draw for myself. I draw for enjoyment because I still do enjoy drawing a lot. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to draw.
Yeah, Jade says that on YouTube there's a recut version of Thief and the Cobbler. It's called the re-cobbled cut of the Thief and the Cobbler, and it's Richard Williams' intended version.
Oh, that's good.
It's on YouTube. What is the role of associate producer in creating a movie?
A lot of times it's making sure that departments are hitting their quotas. It tends to be an accounting type job too, keeping track of the money.
Is that what Chuck Williams was?
No, Chuck was not the associate. He was the main producer.
Main producer. What's the difference between a main producer and an associate?
That's what I was just saying.
Gotcha.
The main producer will be more into okaying the money if it needs to go, if there needs to be more spent. There's a lot of different things. Securing making the deals, between all the different entities that are going to be involved in making the films, partnerships and whatnot. I don't like that one because he's off. I'm drawing him right off the page. I'm going to draw him over here.
Sorry to ask, but are the tigers referenced in your own photos included in the Big Cats course reference pack? If not, would you make more Big Cat reference packs in the future? Thank you.
The ones that I'm drawing now, no, they're not in the course.
Now these ones were exclusive to not only that, but also to everyone that was part of the workshop in Sarasota. But we are, I am planning on getting more Big Cats further down the road, especially lions in September.
Lions.
Lions, tigers, and beige. Lots of beige. Do you ever scribble the characters that you animate out of boredom every once in a while?
Never do, actually. It's funny. I really don't. I think when I was working on them, I probably did more than I do ever now.
How do you prevent your drawing with softer graphite pencils from smearing?
I don't. You see, I got graphite all over my hand.
I've heard of fixative, but I get conflicting advice about that.
Yeah, I don't. I don't put fixative on anything because fixative changes the look. I don't like that head the way it's coming out Man, I'm struggling on this. I like the body, but the head I had not liking.
Stephen Marshall asks, how was the talent in California Disney studios compared to Florida studios? Which did you prefer working at?
I preferred Florida only because that's where I started. And the talent was, comparable. I mean, we all had, it was a great studio no matter what coast you were on. There was great talent. We all kind of came up together through the ranks, at the Florida studio. And so as a result, we were very, very close to one another.
Have you worked with Disney animator Andreas Deja for
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast?
Yes. Not with Beauty and the Beast. We worked together on Beauty and the Beast, but we also worked together on Aladdin and Lion King. I wanted to get kind of this hyper-extended feel to his arms, but it's stiffening out the entire pose. See, a lot of times I'll just sit here and just goof on poses and just sit here and scribble until I find something that I like. And this one, I don't.
Hey Aaron, will you also sell these illustrations?
Yeah, somewhere down the road. Yeah. Go back to the old one. I started drawing.
Back to the old ways.
I want to get this nice.
I'm all out of cues. I'm sure life without you. Good question from B-Thoughts.
Yeah. Can you hook us up with a Milk Call story? I didn't know Milk Call. So no, sorry. No, Milt was way before my time. He was a mean son of a gun, I know that. I shouldn't say he was a mean son of a gun. I know he had a very high standard, and he's one of the best artists in the studio, if not the best artist in the studio. He may have been the best artist that Disney's ever had, and he kind of expected everyone else to live up to the standards that he put on himself, but no one could draw like Milt.
About character design, how
Yeah.
many iterations of a character do you draw before asking for approval?
Oh, it just depends on if I'm hitting it or not. if I feel like I'm hitting it. There's no set number of iterations. It's just, do you feel like you're starting to hit it? And, you know, sometimes it would take a few weeks. Sometimes it would, you know, I could do a few drawings in a day and get to where I can at least be in the ballpark.
Do you have a Glenn Keane story?
I got lots of Glenn Keane stories. I mean, Glenn trained me. Let me do that. That's what I want to do. One of the greatest, I think, one of the greatest experiences I ever had with Glenn was right about the first time I met him. I was in his office, and I was just this young guy that really didn't know anything about animation. I had only trained to be an illustrator, and there we go. That's what I'm looking for. I'd only trained to be an illustrator, and I really didn't know what this whole animation thing was about. I was just looking for a job when I got this internship, right? And so I got matched up to be trained by Glenn Keane, and I remember him taking me into his office on the first day, and just really talking to me about what animation was and what it meant, and to him, and how he got into it, and how his journey was similar to mine in the sense that he was a painter first and discovered this animation down the road, and then he just started talking about all the possibilities that animation presents, and how beautiful of an art form it is. And I just was so inspired. I remember just thinking, man, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And that was 33 years ago. And, you know, and I've been doing it ever since. I still love my painting. I still love, you know, all the things that go with art. But there's something about animation that just is, I don't know, it's magical. And there is something about it. It truly is magical. You're like a wizard. You're bringing things to life, right? And there's just something so intoxicating and so cool about being able to pick up some paper, you know, just a big stack of paper, and turn it into something that is emotional and has life, literally. And you can make people cry and laugh, and all with just a few hundred pieces of paper and your imagination and your hand. You know, it's insane what you can do. It really is magical.
Who else was in your group that was trained with Glenn Keane?
Well, I was the only one with Glenn, but Dan Gracie was in my group. He came from Ringling, along with me, and then there's Jeffrey Border, or Jeffrey Bodeau, we used to call him. Marcus Mashburn, who was a guy that came from Idaho. He was a great illustrator. He ended up going back and illustrating. Trying to think of who else was with us. That's about it. The Bancrofts and some of the other guys, they were in the internship after us. I was in the very first one.
work on Lion King 2, right? The sequel. Why is that? Did working on the second movie meant everything had to start from scratch, including choosing the people who would work on it?
Yeah, well, it's a whole different division that works on the sequel. Back then, those are all direct to video sequels, and so and the budgets for those movies were different, and they were smaller, and so we didn't work on those. It's a whole other division. There we go. Now I'm getting a pose that I like. I like the silhouette. That's what I was trying to get, is a nice, strong silhouette.
So you got another deep thought.
A deep thought.
Deep thought.
Are assistant animators and cleanup artists the same? Yes, it gets confusing because there's assistant animators, which are cleanup artists. They clean up the key drawings, and they are the key assistant to the animator. And then there's in-betweeners and breakdown artists that work under them. So that's an assistant animator. Now there's an animating assistant. I know it sounds weird. Now there's an animating assistant, which is a junior animator in training. So an animating assistant will actually animate short scenes and train under a certain animator to become an animator. Whereas an assistant animator is a cleanup artist that helps clean up the rough animation that the animator creates. It's confusing, I know. Perhaps you can talk about design and animation. Milt drew like Picasso when animating King Louis. I see that John Pomeroy and Bruce Smith have a real nice sense of design on their keys. Yeah, for me, my thing, it all comes to finding nice gesture, nice flow, nice fluidity in the drawing. And I try to think of a drawing not just as a representation of something in 3 dimensions, but it's also, I mean, because you can't escape it. It's a 2-dimensional piece, right? I'm drawing on a 2-dimensional sheet of paper. So there's things about that I want to find fluid as well. I'm thinking about fluidity in 3 dimensions, but I also want fluidity across that flat plane. So I'm thinking about that sort of thing all the time. And so that's why you'll see me sit here and kind of I'll push and shove and kind of draw and redraw and try to get these sweeping actions through a pose because of that. And he did. He really did draw like Picasso. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of rubbing it all down, softening it like I did with the other one. And then I'll go in and with my other graphite. So I want to remind you, if you go on over to creatureartteacher.com/originals, we've got an auction going on right now of a whole bunch of art just like this that I'm creating.
Speaking of the band cross, is there anything you can talk about regarding your recent work with Pencilish, or are you under an NDA?
No, there's not. Well, there's nothing that. I mean, it's. They've got Tom's heading it up, and they've got some really great little projects in the works right now. They're currently developing content, so they're doing really great stuff. I'm excited to see what they do. I just had a meeting with them 2 days ago. I'm on kind of an advisory position with them. So, like from a creative standpoint, I'll look at stuff and give my opinion and that sort of thing. I'm not really involved beyond that. But I looked at some really neat ideas that they've got going that I think are going to be really strong. I absolutely love tigers. Have you ever been able to meet one? I certainly have. When I was creating Rajah from Aladdin, I went into a tiger pen that had 3 young tigers. I wouldn't say they were cubs. I guess they were cubs still. They were probably about 30 pounds apiece. And I went in to play with them, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be great," and like playing with big kittens, and they destroyed me. They absolutely destroyed me. I came out of there all ripped apart, bleeding.
You were just going, "What was I thinking? What was I thinking?"
Yeah, it was dumb.
Or even the staff, like, "Don't do that."
Yeah, well, the staff, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best staff.
Oh, were they not even paying attention?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a, I don't know if it was a great organization that had these tigers. This is way, way back in the day. But, yeah, it was quite an experience. Remember when we went to Big Cat Habitat last year and your grandfather got sprayed by one?
Oh, yeah. I think it was the white tiger that did that.
Yeah, my father got sprayed by one.
And I think Gabby got in the crossfire, too.
Oh, yeah, she did.
When you're animating, do you check the spaces between your drawings, or do you just eyeball it?
I eyeball it. It's not as analytical as that, and that's a lot of the problem with when people just starting out in animation. They get caught up in that analytical thinking of making sure the spacing is right and all this is consistent. It's not that. It's your drawings are gonna be spaced as far as they need to be in order to convey the movement and emotion and everything else that you're trying to get across. So for me, it's not about checking the spacing. It's just flip through the drawings and watch the action, and does it feel like it's moving right, and then adjust accordingly. And so yeah, it's really by feel and by intuition.
Do you have any thoughts about any particular background stylist, like Walt Paragoy or Mary Blair or Ivan Earl?
Yeah, I love Ivan Earl and I love Mary Blair. Those are the two that I really know a lot about.
Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
And what is the relationship between you as an animator and iconic background designers such as these?
Well, I never knew them personally, but you know, as a animator, I'm the guy that's going to be animating the character through the staging and the sets that they design through their layouts and their backgrounds. Now, during a production, I probably don't have much, I wouldn't have much interaction with them. All of their interaction would be with the art director and the layout departments. And if I had any kind of interaction at all, it would probably be with the layout artists, because they're the ones really determining where my character is going to be. And sometimes, you know, as an animator, you may find that you need some extra room in a shot, or you want to move them someplace else, and so you get together with the layout artists, and in some cases the directors, and you try to decide where that's going to be.
No more questions, Your Honor. I mean, Dad. Somebody asks, would you ever do an event at one of the Disney resorts?
Probably not, only because it would cost an arm and a leg.
That is true.
Yeah, and Disney wouldn't, I mean, they sometimes do private stuff like that, but no, probably not. The overhead would be through the roof. See what I did there?
I think so. What's the closest you've ever gotten to a lion, either captive or in the wild?
Oh, I've petted them. In the wild, I've had them right next to the truck, right in front of us as they were eating the kill. Nick and I have been, I mean, literally feet from wild lions eating their kill at night. You know, we've hunted with them. I literally watched them take, you know, in the darkness, take their kill down and devour. It's pretty brutal. Tigers, like I said, I've been in the pen with them and gotten destroyed by them. There's an old publicity photo online of me. I was about 22 years old, and I'm drawing a little tiger cub at the Disney studio. And I've got him, his head's asleep in my hand. He's just snoozing away.
Follow-up question to the background artist question. What do you like about Mary Blair or Ivan Earl?
Their style, you know, Ivan Earl, stylistically, I just thought was the way he could take these really flat, repetitive designs and turn them into these really beautiful, dimensional designs. I thought was insane. And same with Mary Blair. Mary Blair's, her flat design style is so pleasing. You know, if you go and see It's a Small World, which I know is annoying for a lot of people, but back in the day it was really a cool attraction. That's all Mary Blair. That's her. That's her fingerprint right there.
What's the largest audience you've spoken to about art to date, and what was the more specific topic?
Oh, I've talked to groups of people, a couple of thousand, a few thousand at a time,
Dang.
and I've talking about animation, doing demonstrations. I remember the first time I had to talk to was it was Aladdin. It was the first time I had to talk to the press of any significance. I had to go into a theater and there was a few thousand press there, and I had to talk to them about the movie, and boy, I was nervous. So I'm going to remind you on a couple things. First of all, our course on how to draw costumed models, and with an emphasis on fabric and folds and how all that works. That course is in pre-order right now, so you can order that if you go on over to creatureartteacher.com. We just finished the last shoot for it. I'm really excited about it. And this is the first one where I actually go in and I did a lot of the demonstrations in different mediums. It's not all just digital. I did some digital. I did some in oil paint. I did some in charcoal, acrylic, watercolor. I do them in all different mediums because that's what a lot of you asked for. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. And so we had a great time. We just did the charcoal one yesterday. I did a drawing of Vedanta. Can you bring that over, Dustin? Maybe it'll sit under the screen here. Just grab it by the edges. There is no try. There is only do. Man, this thing has got some weird... Oh man, it's kind of big, isn't it? Does that even show up on camera?
Yeah, her head's, the top of her head's cut.
But this is the demonstration we did yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. This is all charcoal. Even the white it's a white charcoal. It's like a Conte. They're done with General's pencils, but it's soft charcoal, hard charcoal, charcoal pencils. But this is just one, and like I said, it's the whole course is on costumed figure drawing, with an emphasis on folds and fabric and how they interact with the human body. So I thought this would be I wanted this to have kind of a classic feel to it, kind of a timeless feel. It could be, a drawing from the 1600s, and so that's really what I was going for. This picture of Vedanta. What?
I was just zooming in.
Oh, so anyway, I'll give that to you, Dustin. There you go. Zoom it back in.
Zoom it in, zoom it in.
One of the things I love about the tiger stripes is how it shows off the form. You really can get away with a lot.
If you can sit in the same cage with any predator, no barriers to draw, what would it be?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. A polar bear.
Panda bear.
Pandas are predators.
They got teeth, don't they?
Polar bears are the scariest predator on the planet for me. I'm more scared of a polar bear than any other creature on Earth. A polar bear will hunt you. If it sees you out there, it will actively go after you. Whereas a lot of other predators, you're not their natural prey, so you're pretty safe. Whereas a polar bear, you know, the world that they live in, there's not much to begin with. So anything that moves is fair game. So they have evolved basically to track and follow anything that moves and devour it and eat it. So they are one of the few animals on Earth that will hunt a human if there's a human there. And that just freaks me out, man. What do you do when you have no motivation to animate, but you have to do it? Well, I do it. You know, I can't always say that every day in the 30 years or 20 years that I worked at Disney, you know, did I have motivation to work? But, you know, there were people down the line that were going to depend on me for quota or whatever, and I needed to earn a paycheck. That was motivation right there. Getting food on the table and paying my rent or my mortgage. But it really just comes down to just doing it. And I always found that pretty much 100% of the time, once you get started, then you can just cruise along. You really can. When you work on Snow Bear, are you going to share some of the process with us? Yes. Matter of fact, because I'm going to be working on Snow Bear so exclusively for so long, that's pretty much all you're going to see me working on for a long time. I'm not going to give away all the secrets because I want the story to still be a surprise for you guys. But yeah, you're gonna get to see how the sausage is made, as they say, all the ins and outs. See what I mean about these stripes? You can really use them to get really a great sense of the form. What is your advice to improve your gesture drawing? Well, the best thing, obviously, is just doing a lot of gesture drawing. But you got to really force yourself gesture drawing is not just drawing sloppy. Gesture drawing is really looking at that form and trying to find that gesture, that line of action, that flow through the body that's going to, in the least amount of lines possible, describe the pose that you're looking at. And you want to get that down quickly. That's what I strive to do, is I really try to get that down as quickly as I can. And then you build on it. You just build on top of it. I'm going to remind you again also that we've got an auction going on over on my website, creatureartteacher.com. Got 30 original pieces of art up for auction, all drawings like this. Most of them drawings like this. We've got a few watercolors in there from past demonstrations that I've done. Some good sized watercolors, actually. A couple of them really big ones. Unfortunately, they're not cheap for the starting bids, and the reserves on them are a little higher. But if you're interested in owning a piece of original artwork of mine, go on over to creatureartteacher.com/originals, and it's going on right now. It goes on till midnight tonight. I'm going to rub this down a little bit. Not liking that. The way the lines are coming across. Yeah. Here. There we go. I just come in and restate. Once I soften everything, when I rub it down like that, I just kind of, you come in and hit it again with the pencil. It's one of the things I love about this animation paper is how durable it is. Really good stuff.
How do you cope with frustration when working? Do you just take a break or hold in the emotion?
I take a break. Sometimes I scream. Sometimes I break things. Sometimes
Dustin again?
Sometimes I take it out on Dustin.
Just go. Just go.
I'm sorry, son.
I've never been like that.
I kill you.
Silence! I kill you. A while back, I sent a short French Canadian animation to V called Cracks. She liked it. Did you happen to see it? It's about a rocking chair passing down through the generations.
No, I never saw that. I'll have to check it out. Check it out now.
The Fung Soul Brother, check it out now. The Fung Soul Brother. You already answered all the Nick's questions?
What do we got here? Do you have any tips for someone who's beginning their first animated short film? Well, storyboard it. Don't start animating until you got it figured out. That's one of the biggest. Don't start too soon. There we go. Time is it?
It is 2:49.
2:49. Let's go ahead and call it on this one. I think. Well, maybe I'll do one more. I'll do one more portrait. We've been at it for what, an hour and 49 minutes?
Give or take. Hour and
But I really, yeah. I mean, I really want to use this time to really drive people. I want you to, if you're interested in this, at all interested, because we've had a lot of it. That's why we're doing it in this auction. Then please go on over to creatureartteacher.com/originals. And yes, we're going to get, we're going to put these up for sale at some point. Nick and I have some ideas for upcoming sales of artwork and whatnot.
No new questions yet.
What? What?
No new questions.
Yeah, I like this one. I like this posture. I always love this kind of posture with, in tigers. Don't forget our 4th of July sale is happening this weekend. So if you go on over to creatureartteacher.com and you want to get any lessons or Photoshop brushes, custom brushes, everything is 25% off. That's off of all of the lessons and brushes. So you just got to put in the promo code July 4 and you can get that promo. It's a good deal, eh?
Good dealie.
That's a good deal.
So Dustin, new Ghibli in 3D. Any thoughts? I have not watched it because I have no real interest in seeing it.
What is it?
Studio Ghibli's latest movie. It's their first CG animated movie. And I've seen clips of it, and I love Studio Ghibli, but that particular CG is just nah.
You're such a good man. You're trying so hard not to say anything bad about them. That's what I love about you, son. You care about how other people feel.
Well, I'm not going to say like, oh, Studio Ghibli's terrible all because of one movie. I mean, they've made so many great masterpieces before. They just make one little hiccup, you know. But yeah, I'm more of a 2D animation fan, especially with Studio Ghibli's style.
Yeah.
Love their style. Zonji's asking, are you feeling ready for the hurricane season?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. We've been getting plenty of rain already here, bud.
Oh yeah. I've lived in Florida for 45 years, with the exception of my little stint in California. I moved to Florida when I was a kid, 1976. So we've gone through the storm season many, many times.
What graphite pencil do you like draw with 2H, 2B, 2B, etc.?
I'm actually drawing with a 4B. Nice and soft.
Is that the kind you like to use the most?
Yeah. 4B. No harder than 2B. 2B is about as hard as I like it.
To be or
But
not,
not
to be. Not to be.
There we go. So there's our next drawing. So there's 2.
Looks like you got a couple of questions lined up from Nick.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my. Oh dear. Look
Should
at
you
that.
draw slowly at first when learning how to draw the first time? Yeah. You want to take it all. Drawing to me is a very well, not only is it personal, but it's a very intellectual process. You're really thinking. There's a lot of things going on in the head when you're drawing, especially if you're drawing representational. You got to think about light. You got to think about form. You got to think about perspective. You got to translate a 3D image into a 2D image. There's a lot of things going on, and if you've never done it before, yeah, you gotta sit there and think about it. So take your time.
You must draw as fast as you can. You can only use 5 lines in 5 seconds. Looks like just got another one.
I did.
Yep. 2 others. Oh, third one popped up.
Have you ever broken a pencil in anger? I have broken so many pencils in anger. Yes. I'm not proud of it.
He's broken a neck in anger. Trust me, I should know.
What's your favorite Pixar movie? Wow, that's a good one. That's a good question.
Pixar. That's fine. I can't quite remember what movies are Pixar outside of Toy Story.
Oh, there's Monsters Inc. There's
Yeah.
Up. There's all kinds of stuff.
Up is good. Yeah, I'll probably have to say Toy Story. Like, Toy Story is what started the whole CG animation thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great leap towards the technology, but it was also a prediction of 2D falling apart in the mainstream. At least that's how I feel about that.
For me, I think it's The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah, I would like to change my answer to The Incredibles. I keep forgetting that The Incredibles is Pixar. Do you have any tips how to train yourself to drawing bigger?
Get a bigger drawing pad. The hardest thing about drawing big is keeping proportion correct.
Oh, Wall-E is another good one.
Yeah, I like Wall-E.
And actually, God, I can't pick a favorite.
Yeah, because now you want to go back on. You want to see Wall-E, don't you?
Yeah. Well, what Wall-E did for me was I remember seeing the movie Wall-E and hearing the "Put on Your Sunday Clothes" song, which was like most of them.
Hello, Dolly.
Most of that movie. Yeah, I decided to look that up and found Hello Dolly, and that became one of my favorite musicals to watch all the time. So the two kind of went hand in hand.
Yeah.
And plus, how can you go wrong with a cute little trash pot?
Yeah.
Okay, got yourself a new question.
Oh yeah. I'm just hold on a second.
Hurry it up!
He's trying to sound like me again.
Hurry it up!
My son hates me.
Don't make me break out the wheel.
Do you consider an iPad Pro a good platform to start learning digital drawing? Absolutely, yes.
Mm-hmm. You know, Cintiq is still continuing making the Cintiq Pros,
Yes.
the mobile Cintiqs.
I don't know. As far as I know, yeah. I like this arm the way I drew it, but it's too small.
That arm is tiny.
There. Trying to do something a little Frazetta-ish.
No new questions, sir.
How's my head? Is it in the way?
No, I mean it's your head is in camera, but it's not blocking the image. So you is safe for now.
Let me get a nice straight right there. Let's get that straight right there.
When animating snappy actions,
Yeah.
is stretch better than multiple image? Which do you prefer?
It depends on the style, and I've done both to complete success. So it really depends on what it is that you're trying to get across. Multiple images tend to be a lot of fun. A lot of times I'll do both too. But I love doing stretch, like wipes, complete distortions in the frame. They're really cool looking.
the tiger is angry at its tail.
Hey, hey, tail.
Hey, tail, cut it out.
I think that's pretty funny. Something here. There's something in this drawing I might be able to keep here. I'm kind of liking.
Can you do some landscape drawings in one of future streams? I always struggle with them.
Yes. I'd like to do some landscape drawings from the field in a live stream, like us out being outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of, here's a little anatomy. Think of the front paw, the front leg as just an arm, a front arm. And a lot of the anatomy is pretty spot on with our own anatomy. Pretty close. Bum, bum, bum. Until I've been using this one quite a bit. Actually, coming around like that would be even better. Nope, I spit on my drawing. Get this round line of action right here. Right around like that. That could be fun, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Get those details in here. Hey Aaron, are there any jobs out there for traditional animation like this, or if you want a job, is it all digital these days? Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's mostly all digital, although it's, there is work out there in 2D, for sure. And it depends on what it is that you want to do. If you're, animating, yeah, it's a little tough to find a job. A lot of it's in Europe, as far as feature work goes and that sort of thing. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on at Netflix. I'm not sure where the productions are being done, but if you look at Netflix and some of the other streaming platforms, there's a lot of there's a lot of animated content, 2D animated content being done. I don't know where it's being done. It might be being done overseas, but it's all 2D. No one's drawing on paper anymore. No one does this. nowhere in the world that I know of is doing this on a large scale. This type of animation is a thing of the past. Drawing on paper.
Somebody's asking, do you ever binge watch James Gurney YouTube clips like I do? He just did a beautiful gouache of a cake stand in a diner.
That guy can do a beautiful gouache, acrylic, anything of a dust bunny in the corner of your room, and it would be beautiful. That guy is one of the most amazing painters and just all around artist I've ever seen in my life. He embraces the world of painting and just creating beauty from nothing so well. I mean, James Gurney blows my mind. He's a hero.
I say a portrait course coming soon. Do you know when?
Probably in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It's all shot. It just needs to be edited, and we need to, and we'll get it out in the right timing. This was fun. Having a good time with this one. Drawing is my first love. I love painting, I love animation, all of it, but my first artistic love is just straight up, just sitting down, grabbing a piece of paper, and just drawing.
How's it going over there?
Well, oh, when do you know you're ready for the art industry? Like starting to build a portfolio. I'm now studying character design at Brainstorm, heading toward animation and concept art. I think once you never know if you're really, it's hard to say when you can sit down and go, okay, I'm ready. But I think you'll know after you've had the proper amount of training. And my thing is, don't dive in before you're ready. And you have to really be honest with yourself as far as whether or not you've done enough training and learned as much as you can, or learned enough to make it in the industry.
Do you draw on a time limit, or do you draw till it's finished?
I draw till it's finished. I ain't gonna give myself no time limit. Nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I ain't giving myself no time limit.
What's the most famous piece of art you've seen in person?
Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa. It's a tiny little painting.
Really small?
Oh yeah, it's small.
I thought it was big.
No, it's not much bigger than one of these pieces of paper. It's bigger than that, but I mean, it's much smaller than what you would think.
When did you start drawing?
When the Beatles were still a band, Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix were still alive. No, I started drawing when I was about 1 or 2, 9 months. So in there, my mother used to set me up in a high chair, and we couldn't afford drawing pads or paper, so we used to, there's no such thing as plastic grocery bags back then. Everything was paper, and so we had all these paper grocery bags that my mother would cut up and flatten out, and she'd put me in my high chair and give me crayons and let me draw on the brown grocery bags. And she told me when I was 9 months old that I was drawing faces and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. My mother used to embellish her stories a little bit. I don't know how true that was, but I do know that I loved to draw for as long as I can remember, and I've been doing it ever since I could hold a pencil.
Have you ever drawn anime?
Not really, no. Can you show us the big cat anatomy sculpture in front of you? Yes. This is a Junie sculpture.
Showing through the face cam.
Oh, this way?
Yep.
There we go. So there's what she looks like with the skin on. That's what she looks like with the skin off. Pretty cool, huh? And here's the head. Snarls.
Very nice.
Super cool. So going over to creatureartteacher.com/originals if you want to put a bid on some original artwork. It's our first auction we've ever done. And we've been having a good time getting these. I've been having a good time getting these drawings done. I remember when Ken Spuduso came over to to record for his course on portrait drawing and painting. And so while the camera's running, there's not a lot for me to do. Nick is watching everything, and so I'm just there to listen. And so I just decided to draw and to see what came out, during the course of his recording, and ended up doing a lot of drawing. And it just reignited that fire in me for drawing. I just love it.
Would you ever do a photo shoot of some of your skeletons or skulls, etc., and make it available as a photo pack for references?
That we've talked about. Nick and I have talked about that a little bit. I'm not sure how legal that is from a copyright standpoint, but we're going to look into it for sure. For some of my real skulls, we could do that for sure.
What if you're photographing Dustin and the skulls were quote unquote coincidentally in the background?
What must we do when the composition, etc., works, but the color doesn't? Well, that's, at least you're halfway there. For me, color is secondary to value. If you can get your value structure to work, you can almost get away with any color. And so really, a lot of times people are thinking it's the color that's not working, when in reality it's the value structure that's not working. So step back from it a little bit and see if it might be the value structure instead. I love drawing these lines and getting them to follow the contour of the cat.
Which expressions do you like the most in a character?
I love drawing happy, like over the top, like someone, when someone's laughing super hard. There's something really fun about drawing that, because I find that it's infectious. You start feeling the same emotion that you're drawing. What do you think about using tutorials when drawing? Can it help or not? My whole business, my whole life is built upon creating tutorials for you. I hope they help. That's my job. Yes, yes. You should be using tutorials while you're drawing. If you're struggling on something, absolutely.
Which expression do you like the most in that character?
You just asked me that.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Was the start of your career a bit of happiness, bit of depression? And if so, how did you continue drawing when you had emotions on the way?
You just do. You just do. You know, everyone has emotions. You just do it. You got to buck up. You know, you just, yeah, I've had all kinds of emotions happen. I've experienced, you know, throughout my career, and you deal with it. And you move forward, and you don't look back. I've always been a stubborn kind of character anyway, so even, you know, if life gets me down or whatever, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm not taking, you know, there'll be times where I'll get knocked down, but I'm never going to take that as an answer if it doesn't fit into my equation. I've always been that way a little bit, a little tenacious. There we go. That's what this needs, is some frizzed up hair. I finished a drawing of my ball python today. It's so weird and awesome trying to figure out how a snake moves. You know, we were talking about that last night. We've got a lot of black racers in our yard here in Florida. And black racers are so fast. They're incredibly fast. How does an animal with no legs move so fast? My father and I were talking about that. It really is amazing. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This one's coming out fun. I like this one. I like it when a drawing just clicks, you know? Well, first of all, a drawing never clicks. I fight every drawing I do. But when you cross over the hump, Now, right about this point is you want to make sure you get the strike pattern correct. There's a certain way they cross over in the back, and when you get to the back leg, there's a certain point where it goes like this. It crosses over to the back of the leg.
You're saying how your new home backs up to a nature preservation area. Has that changed the way you've interacted with the outdoors?
The way I interact with what?
Interacted with the outdoors, like living in this new house with the way that's right up against.
Oh,
the
no,
park.
not really. I mean, I try to get out as often as I can anyway, no matter where I'm at. It just makes it a bit more accessible. And it's funny, I haven't gone out nearly as much as I had planned on, just because of work and whatnot. But we're taking a vacation coming up. Nick's taking a vacation soon, and I'm taking a vacation soon. We're hitting the road. Actually, Nick and I have been talking about doing this for several years, but we really want to do it, and I think we can do it. I'd like to do it, if not this summer, maybe this fall, but River Week. You know, up in DeLand where I was living, there's a marina that's got a whole fleet of houseboats that you can rent, and you can rent them for a week at a time. And so we've been talking about renting the one of the houseboats for a week and live streaming every day from the river and drawing and painting, and just thought it'd be a lot of fun.
Would you ever consider doing some studies or talks of the background artists we talked about earlier?
Never.
Fine.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun there, buddy. There we go. There we go.
There we go.
I got a new question from Nick.
What have I got here? I just watched the sad part of your expressions course. Excuse me. And I definitely felt sad as well after drawing along. Great lesson, though. It was worth the short feeling of sadness. See, I'm telling you, it works. I enjoy making that course. That was a lot of fun. Because when you're happy, drawing happy, it makes you happy. River Week, River Week. I'm telling you, River Week would be awesome. Do you like to time yourself and do blind contour drawings? No. Nope. I've never liked doing blind contour drawings. I hate them. I want to see what I'm drawing. Sorry. I got a tickle. Doggone it, sorry. There we go. Better drink my water.
The water. Drink the water.
Oh, that's better.
You answered that last question, right?
The last I answered that last one?
Do you like the time yourself do blind counter drawings?
Yeah. I hate contour drawings. Nope. Nick has a son named Rivers, and he just pointed out that we've been talking about doing River Week longer than Rivers has been alive. How true. There we go. There. Check it out now.
Fuck the umbrella.
This is the
Where's that laugh?
yeah, it's just the little sounds from the background here. All right. My last one. We got 3. Do you remember when you worked on the Roger Rabbit short trail mix-up? Yes. That was awesome. I do remember. I animated about the first minute of that cartoon.
Nice. What is your favorite light source?
The sun.
Yeah, I like.
I don't know how to answer that question. What's my favorite light source? I'm not.
LED light or bouncing light,
Oh,
soft light,
Yeah, just a nice.
softbox light. Like me, I love golden hour light from the sun.
Oh my gosh, that's the best. I think everybody loves that. There we go. breathing. There it is. It's kind of a funky, I was going for that funky Frazetta dynamic pose.
Frazetta funky.
What's that?
Frazetta funky.
Muscles. Muscles. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Here it is.
Yeah, you got to be careful about drawings like this because you spray fix them, and boy, that spray fix will show up any little bit of hand grease and oil, face oil, whatever, you get it on there. So you want to make sure not to spray fix these drawings. You just got to be careful not to touch them.
No touchy.
No touchy. All right, folks. So once again, I'm going to remind you guys for last time, we've got a big sale going on over at creatureartteacher.com for 4th of July weekend. So if you go over there and all of our courses, all of our Photoshop brushes, everything is 25% off. It's a big sale. Does that include memberships, Nick? I'm not sure. But if you're checking out, make sure you put in the promo code July 4 when you check out, and you can get 25% off your entire purchase. So that's a pretty good deal, eh? And also, while you're over there, go on over and check out creatureartteacher.com/originals and maybe buy a piece of art.
Auction.
Yeah, we're going to be auctioning these too down the road. So if you're interested in these drawings, let's see what we got here. You had fun today.
Yeah.
Yes, memberships are included. So if you want to become a member, this would be the time to become a member because they're 25% off as well. So there's one there. And there's the other one there. I like this one. Something about this pose I like.
Very relaxed looking.
Yeah. Yeah. And then here's my ice breaker one. The icebreaker drawing, just to get warmed up.
It is quite nice.
So there we are. So that was fun, eh? And also, go on over and check out our live event. Go to creatureartteacher.com/live and get information there. August 14th, Chuck Williams and myself are going to be teaching our course on getting an animated project off the ground. How we started our movies, how we get the stories going, how we develop our characters, how we develop our themes, all of it. And it's a 6-hour all-day class that we're going to be talking about, and it's going to be on Saturday, August 14th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be so.
It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be sweet. Sweet.
So go on over to creatureartteacher.com/live. And that's LIVE, and you can check that out. Also, my course on drawing costumed models, costumed figures, drawing and painting costume figures. That's in pre-sale right now for 50% off. So that's going to be going up. July 17th is the last day you can get that. at the pre-sale because we are releasing the course then. We had a blast creating it. So anyway, I had a blast doing this today. I want to do more of this. We'll do some more, now that we're set up, I can sit at the traditional desk a little more often and we can do stuff like this. I just like to draw, eh? I
You
like
just
to
like
draw.
to draw, dear bud.
It's just nice to draw. So anyway, go on out there, put some beauty back into the world. I hope you guys have a great, great week and weekend. If you're here in the States, well, I don't care where you are in the world, be safe. But especially in the States here with the fireworks and all that crazy stuff, be careful. Don't blow off any fingers, or at least not on your drawing hand. Have a great weekend. And like I said, go out, put some beauty back into the world, make someone else's life better. Put your grocery cart away, do something nice. And I will catch up with you again next week. Take it easy.
You right back there?
I shorted out. I think I smelled toast again.
Oh boy. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Glad you guys enjoyed this stream. And in case of any of you newcomers are interested in any wildlife photography, you can check out my Instagram at Dustin_Blaise over on Instagram. And I post a lot of wildlife photos up there. In fact, I think later today or tomorrow we'll be posting a really cool shot I got of a great blue heron with an eel. So I'll likely be posting that tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And also over at Creature Art Teacher, you can find my photo reference bundles of Florida wildlife. And soon to be up there will also be Yellowstone wildlife, hopefully. So keep an eye out for that. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great 4th of July to all you Americans out there. And as always, Cowboy Bebop. See ya.
Cowboy Bebop.